Welcome everybody to this player interview between Puppypaw and myself here. Here we have one of the potential favorites for King of the Rockies over here. We'll hear his thoughts on the event as well as the patch that just dropped the day before the event launched. But before we head in there, I think despite the fact that you've been to quite a few interviews recently, I think it's a good reminder for many of the viewers if you kind of introduce yourself and just give a bit of a rundown of who you are and where you came from when it comes to AoE for gaming.
My in-game name is 1puppypaw. I've played many RTSs like throughout my life, but mostly just StarCraft 2 and AoE 3. And out of university, I just started playing AoE 4. Like it was like perfect timing. I finished university, the game came out, like, and I just got really good at it, and eventually started playing in tournaments and kept playing because I was successful. So.
Yeah, so did 1v1 gaming become your primary thing at the very beginning, or was there a progression? I know some pro players, they start as team game players whatsoever, and then they move on to 1v1. What was your story in this regard?
So I've always been like really competitive. I think a lot of people need to be when they're in this kind of gaming, tournament space. But no, for AoE 3, I played a lot of team games, which I guess I was a lot more casual. Didn't take it that seriously. Uh, but no, I just jumped right into 1v1s. Yeah, I remember like back in the old days just playing French a bunch and spamming knights. But yeah, I just wanted to do really good on the ladder and just get really high and win a lot of games. Yeah.
Well, speaking of AoE 4, as it's probably very well known, the patch, the latest balance patch dropped just a day before the event, and I do have a couple of questions regarding that. Um, First of all, what are your thoughts on the balance changes for this recent patch?
Um, Honestly, I think the balance changes. I think most of it is good, but it's a bit questionable, like the Atri and Biz changes. Like outside of that, I think it's all, as far as balance, I think it's all very good. But in general, I think the patch is very fun. Like, and I think like the cons hunters, I've used them like once or twice. They're very fun. You can use the Falcon with them. It kind of a lot of the gameplay like tries to play into like the Civ's identity. Like with Reus, you go out on food a lot earlier, I feel like, and Mongols you're playing very active with cav units. So um, yeah, even Delhi more elephants with the movement speed. So I think a lot of it is very fun, and maybe they'll have to tone down Atria Biz in the next patch. I don't know, but yeah, I think the patch is very good in general.
How do you think it changes the approach that players have to the tournament, though? Because it's one thing to have a new patch with all these balance changes, but obviously the time available to adapt to these changes was very, very small. How do you think this will affect the outcome of the tournament or potential sets?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like I think we're all going into it a bit blind in some parts. Yeah, I think it just for the most part, I'm kind of just gonna be banning like Atri and Biz for the most series, I think, depending on the maps. Um, but yeah, we might see a lot of new stuff in these games. I think like in particular, like Japan, it seems a good bit better. Um, and the playstyles as well. Like I think Reus is going to be a lot less WTC. I don't know if anybody has some wild strategies planned, but I think I'm just gonna like try to shift my playstyles a bit, and for a few civs, and then for a lot of other civs, I'm just gonna play very standard and try to just scout what they're doing a lot more, I suppose.
Well, of course, when we look at AoE 4 as a competitive game, the overwhelming majority of the events that we have, the competitive events, are online. So obviously, a LAN environment is very, very different over here. First of all, just to go into this little topic of the LANs, what's your overall LAN experience, either as someone that just attended as a viewer and as someone that attended as a pro player? Um, does this even change your approach to the tournament? In general, how different is a LAN for you compared to an online event?
Yeah, that's a tough question to answer. I think it's yeah, it's a lot different for everyone. But yeah, it's just you gotta like really focus on just playing the game and kind of zone out a lot of different stuff. And each RAN event's gonna be a lot different than the other one. Um, I think I think having the previous experience of going to Germany helps a bit. Um, but yeah, I don't think I take like a different approach to it, and I just try to play my game and just stay focused.
Was it very different coming to King of the Rockies versus going to Germany with all the time zone switches and the length of the travel?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit different. So, yeah, like they really went all out on the I mean this event I think the organizers have done it fantastic given given the circumstances. But Germany was definitely very different, hosted by Red Bull with a huge prize pool and a bunch of pros being thrown in. But I think I mean the stakes are a bit lower, but I think it's still a WAN and it feels like it's very intense.
These days are definitely busy for you. You know, coming to site, we've been around folks here the whole day, and you know, you leave the hotel early morning, you come to site, and then it's just like practice games, getting your peripherals set up, and you're just surrounded by all these pro players basically the entire day, right?
Yeah, yeah. I I think it's also cool seeing everyone come from like different places and in time zones. Everyone got acclimated like at a different time. I came in pretty late, so uh, that kind of sucked because I had to like went out at like 11 p.m. and got some food and managed to go to bed, but I woke up like only with a few hours of sleep. So, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna focus on playing and
So, talk about King of the Rockies. How do you feel about the favorites for this event? Do you have anyone? Well, first of all, who's your pick when it comes to the potential champion? And do you have any underdogs that we should probably be on the lookout for?
I mean I think me and Wham are definitely the favorites. Like we play the game a lot more than I think most people here, but when it comes to win, everyone can win. Like um, GOA has been streaming a lot and playing a lot more, so he definitely has a better chance than maybe a few other people. Phil Sperto, he took a game off Wham in the show match that we had, so he's definitely pretty strong, definitely on a few civs. But I'd say me and Wham have the best chances for sure. We have like even the experience. Like we don't have a ton of experience when it comes to other pro players, but we have been to a LAN before um, and competed at like really high
Mhm.
stakes. So yeah. As far as like if it's me or Wham who's the favorite, I honestly don't know. It like when we practice it can be 50-50, it can be 60-40 depending. It can be completely different depending on the drafts and just how we play and then what matchups we get. So it's really a toss-up, I think.
Well, indeed, you came into this as favorites, and you're widely regarded as the favorites. But we shall see if indeed the textbook answer is what actually happens. Um, One last question to you over here, especially with all the recent success surrounding you, and you know all these tournament performances recently. You've started to collect a pretty substantial fan base alongside Wham as well. But you know, you guys started to become very, very popular among many viewers. What kind of message do you have to all the fans out there?
The message I have to the fans is I'm probably just gonna keep playing AoE4 and enjoying the game. I mean, I do have a few gripes with the game, but in general, I think the game is very good. I think the game has a lot of uniqueness that other RTSs don't have out there, and yeah, I hope people enjoy watching me play AoE4 because I think at least for the foreseeable future, I'm gonna keep playing the game, and yeah, tune in. I'll be streaming and enjoying the game. So
Well, that's great to hear because you don't never know. Maybe there's going to be a King of the Rockies too, and of course, if that happens, or I mean, we should be optimistic. Maybe we should say when that happens, then you guys probably also want to be here once again. This, of course, was Puppy Paw here. We will hear about some of the other players as well in the coming hours. Each of the players that are participating will have their own respective answers heard and their own respective perspectives shared. So stay tuned here at King of the Rockies. Thank you so much for joining me for this little interview. And hopefully we're going to see some very entertaining games from you in the coming days.
Yeah, thank you, man. I hope to put on a show.